दादी होती थी, खाना खाया जाए, तो माइंड काम करना बंद कर देता है, भूखे बजट में वही हो पाता है, तो डिफिकल्ट टास्क है। बट हम कोशिश करेंगे कि थोड़ा अच्छे से हम इस सेशन को कर पाए ताकि आपको खाने की ज़्यादा याद हो। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लॉट ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड टू ऑल ऑफ यू because all of you are teachers and we know that the whole education, as another speaker also said, it is centered around the teachers. So if teachers are not there, nothing can be done. So a lot of gratitude and pranam to all of you for the wonderful task which you are doing. So thanks a lot for doing that. Yeah, we can clap for every one of you. So what we will do, we will try to, because it is talked about the pedagogical practices in NEP and NCR, and because a lot of focus is there on the experiential learning, we will try to keep this session little experiential. So we will start with an activity. For that I have to get up. So I will just come on the dice and do it. Maybe one of you also might have to get up, and if you can help with this activity. Yes, sir. Get up. So what we have to do, we have to keep our hands up front, move your fingers, right? Move your fingers. Now right hand on top of left hand. What are we doing? Keeping the right hand on top of left hand and keep moving the fingers. On the count of 3, we will try to interlock the fingers, okay? So I will say on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all of you are interlocked. Now look very carefully at my hands, okay? And at the count of 3, whatever I am doing, you have to do the same thing, okay? 1, 2, 3. What happened? Not able to do, but I did. So what you have to do, you have to concentrate again, okay? If you want to learn something, we have to concentrate and pay attention to someone or book or whatever. So concentration and attention is the key to the learner. So please do that again. I will do it one more time for you. Let's see you all can do it. Some of you are able to do it in the first go also. So that is very nice. You are able to concentrate. Yeah. Let's repeat. Okay. Move fingers. Right hand on top of left hand. Keep moving the fingers. On a count of 3, we will interlock the fingers. Okay. On a count of 3, we have to move. 1, 2, 3. I can see that there are more hands which are able to do it, so that's great. You can sit down. Thanks a lot. Very nice. So, you could see that if we concentrate, we can learn, right? A very simple demonstration of that. So, throughout the session, I know that the younger will not be able to concentrate, but we would request you to concentrate so that you can learn more. So we are going to do another activity. Okay. Though it is a panel discussion, where we will engage with the panel a little bit more as we move forward, but we will also try to keep it experiential if we do. So in this activity, what we are going to do, we are going to observe this area. Okay. So you can observe anything. You can observe lights, you can observe, let's say, flowers, you can observe the floor, right? You can observe some openings are there, you can even observe the structure, you can observe the lamp, you can observe anything, okay? What you have to do, you have to, because it is another thing is that it is a body task. So before we do this activity, we will request you to find out a learning buddy, okay, and you have to share that with the another person. So if you don't concentrate, you will not be able to participate. So again, inbuilt concentration is there. So that's why please listen to the instructions carefully, otherwise you will not be able to participate. So what you have to do, you have to observe, as I said, whatever you want to observe. You can observe the shadow, you can observe the light, you can observe the outdoor, you can observe even this one, flowers, anything. And we have to use a thinking routine called I observe, I wonder. What you have to use? You have to use I observe, I wonder. So observation is leading to a question, right? For example, there is a light. You might be observing something about the light. And you have an observation and you might be wondering that why is it happening. So science is all about cause and effect, right? So you are observing an effect which is an observation and we are trying to find out what is the cause behind it. So we have to frame our observation and question using I observe, I wonder. So again, I would request you to find out that your learning buddy. If you don't have a person nearby, you have to make a group of two basically. So if you don't have a pair, then move your position, sit somewhere where you can find out your learning buddy. Okay, because we will use it again and again, so it is important that you have the learning buddy. So I will give you a minute, please find out your learning buddy and sit in a pair. So you can start.
I wonder because there is so much hotness even in the cold.
Correct. What you observed?
Huh?
What you have observed and you think?
Hotness, sweat on my face, sweat on the faces of others. So much. Why?
Okay. Yeah. Few seconds. I think every one of you have found someone, hopefully. Okay. So we will take few seconds. Observe our surrounding like the instruction is given. Once you have observed, you have to share your I observe, I wonder with your learning buddy. Right? So both of you have to share with each other. So let's take a time to observe that answer. For that question. So what can be the possible answer? The answer need not be right.
क्या था सवाल?
Okay.
एक बार फिर से बताओ.
Right to
Although we are in shadow,
don't worry about that.
yet there is so much hotness.
So think that what can be that possible explanation and answer for that.
आंसर देना है ना.
Okay, take a 30 seconds. First think and then share. So right now just think what can be the possible explanation. Try to give a possible explanation for the question. Try to give a possible explanation for the question. So
No.
if we see
मैं बोल दूँ रील कुछ नहीं.
हो गया आप लोग.
मैं बोल दूँ रील कुछ नहीं.
हो गया.
It is talking about it is talking about experiential learning and because possible explanation called in science hypothesis very nice. So we are doing a scientific process right now if you see, right? So most of the learning if we can based on this process of observation, questioning, hypothesizing, then natural learning happens as well as authenticity is there and child-centric learning also happens. All of you might have different observations right now. You are not having my observation, you are having your own observation. So that is the key. So with that, I will open the floor for the discussion. Typically, do you see like when everyone was observing, did you also get a chance to observe something and
दूसरे किसी
did
को
any
बातें
question arise in your mind from any observation?
Good afternoon everyone, I am Deepika Kapoor. When sir has given this activity, so I observed these beautiful flowers. And I observed there are so many questions came into my mind. I was thinking about this beautiful colors. Who has given this yellow color to this flower only and this red color to this flower? So there were so many questions in my mind. But I don't have answer. Then again I was thinking I have to observe the nature for that.
So this is one kind of question.
I asked the same question and I wonder if you gave me the very good answer.
So he has given the explanation.
Yes, very.
Sir, so have you read the answer in any book? Or you got the answer by your own self?
He's a scientist.
Previous learning. Okay.
Okay, great. So that was one kind of question where we are trying to find out that who has given that. Now, so there is a cause behind every effect. So color is an effect, right? and what is the cause behind it. So one is the pigment, but what kind of pigment? They can keep going deeper and deeper, right? So that's very nice. Thanks for sharing that. So with that, Punita ji, for you, like when we observe, sometimes we keep the observation very open, right? We can say that just observe, right? And we don't give any scaffolding, we don't narrow it down, we don't focus on something. But sometimes we also focus, right? We might say that observe the light, observe the shadow. So do you think that both are required or only one kind of observation should be done? If you can throw a little more light on it.
So, observation, as Tarun said, is the starting point of science. When you observe, there are so many questions that come to your mind. Different questions to which you try to find out answers. So, trying to answer questions is what science is all about. And, many questions are still unsolved in science. This is what we need to let our children know. Every question does not have an answer. There are many which maybe they will in future find an answer to, and maybe we will have a next Nobel Prize winner from India. When we inculcate this habit of questioning. But the core for questioning is observation. One set of observation that you did was a very open-ended observation where you could observe anything that you wanted to. But then when I want to focus on a particular topic or on a particular aspect, for example, say leaves, then I need to have focused observations and structured observations related to that particular topic. So if you ask your children to go for a nature walk, they will just wonder and try to observe each and everything that is there, which will lead to curiosity, which is one way of having observation. The other way is if I have to teach the topic of leaves, I tell the students in advance that, okay, this is a checklist, this is what you need to observe. Go and draw the leaf that you like the most. Give a name to that leaf. The child may or may not know the name to the leaf. Look at the variation that is there in the leaf, the color of the leaf. Let the students come up with the observations and then we can have discussions in the class related to patterns, because observing patterns are very important in science, right? The differences, the similarities in leaves, how are those, the venation related to the type of root that is there. You all are teachers, you can ask so many questions on even one particular observation. So that is how structured observations.
Very nice. Thank you for that. So in many of the cases, as Punita ji said, like maybe we can start with open-ended observation first. So they have their own space to observe whatever they want to observe, and then narrow it down further by scaffolding on the leaves or flowers, whatever we want to go further and study. Very, very interesting perspective.
Here I would like to add, we usually give projects to students. Complete this project within 1 week, within 15 days, within 1 month. But why? Just to give marks only? बच्चा क्या करता है? ChatGPT, Google, Mother will help. This is the reality. बच्चा ऐसे ही आंसर लेके आ रहा है. But we want to give space. हम क्या करते हैं? कल के कल आपको आंसर लेके आना है. We should get a project that will be go for at least 3 months on quarterly basis or 6 months. We have to prepare projects for at least 6 months, so that he or she can observe the things very deeply. There's no doubt, there's no bad that the child is using Google, but there are other ways also. बच्चा अपने पेरेंट्स से पूछेगा, पीयर ग्रुप में पूछेगा, ऑब्जर्व करेगा, जाके देखेगा. So we have to give time. Thank you.
Thanks for adding that. So many times this observation was very short duration observation. What Gitika ji is saying, that long-term observation, for example, for astronomy, right? If you are studying about moon and all these things, we need long-term observation. And there are examples in India as well as abroad where people have observed for 20 years. Like Tycho Brahe observed the celestial objects for 20 years, on which the Kepler has based the theory. Right? So how much patience is needed? Patience is also another aspect, which in a way we are losing, again because of, it can be because of the technology or many other aspects. So how do we develop this value and disposition also is very important. So NEP talks about competency. You might have heard this word competency many times. But what is this competency? Right? That is a big question. So competency has three components. One is the knowledge, right, which is about the light, shadow. Second is capacity, which is collection of skills like observation, questioning, thinking. Third is values and disposition, like patience, for example, paying attention, concentration. All these are the values which are important and has to be developed. So competency includes all these three. We need not have to focus only on the knowledge. So with that, I have another question, Vidikaji, for you. So we talked about two types of observation. One is short-term observation, second is long-term observation. But are there other ways by which we can promote observation? So here we just said that observe this space. But are there other ways to provide opportunities for observation? What can be those opportunities?
Yes, we can give other opportunities. Like we can tell students to collect flowers, collect water, and we can tell students to store that water and flowers for few days. Then automatically एक पानी different color पानी का हो जाएगा. Then we can do experiments by his own self. He will get the answer by his own self. हम साइंस का ही concept learning by doing से करवा सकते हैं.
Yes, please.
Like you have many trees in the school. So one class can adopt a particular tree and observe the tree in different seasons. This is one of the practice that we follow. So my adopted tree looks like this in summer, looks like this when it is rainy season. What are the flowers? When does it bloom? What is the color of the leaves? When does it shed leaves? So this is also an example of a long-term observation that you can do within the school system.
Very nice. Thank you for adding those perspectives. I would also like to add one more thing to this conversation. Like many times we can also give some other opportunities, like asking them to create a poem on flowers, asking them to create a poem on, let's say, light, right? So, or insect, right? So they can only create poems when they observe it. If they don't observe it, the poem can't be created, right? And that emotional touch has to come, right? The expression has to come. So many things can be integrated along with giving them the opportunity to observe. So that can be another way by which we can give them the opportunity to observe. Okay, with that we will come to the second segment of this panel discussion. So as we said that you are hungry, so I will again and again remind you for that.
We are also observing that.
But we will also try to do something so that you don't feel hungry very much. So let's do another.
Proceed to the second section. On a lighter note, I would like to add, just don't tell them to observe the flowers, also tell them to observe the rocks, because I'm a geologist. Rocks, they are purple in color.
Exactly.
It's just on a lighter note.
True, true.
I think,
Yeah.
as a geologist, I think they should also know about rocks and minerals.
Ma'am.
Everything we-
Ma'am, for that you can make a trip of.
Because I showed them the rocks and minerals and the excitement is,
Oh, very nice.
I cannot explain in words how
Yeah,
excited they
true,
were.
true, true. Very nice.
So that can be a task.
Very
That
much.
can be a task. What are the things which you can observe?
True, very nice.
Many things are there, so just make a list and then go on.
Correct. And just to extend to what Ma'am was saying, right now we are still talking about external observation, right? So whether it is rock, whether it is flower, whether it is anything, right? For higher grades or even for lower grades, actually there is a possibility that we observe internal things also, right? What are the thoughts coming to us? Why are those thoughts coming? What are the emotions? So even internal observation can be there. So science is not limited only to the external observation. So that another very nice
And if
addition.
you allow me, I would like to add something more. I know it's
Sure, sure.
your panel discussion.
No, no, definitely.
For example, observing a rock or a tree, you also need to educate them how a flower grows or how a tree grows. It's on soil. Now, soil is an output of weathering of rock. So the profile, everything has to be taught to them in a holistic manner. So that is, it is not a partial. So that's internal the process. How the flower comes into being or how a tree comes into being.
True, true, very good.
We can say in other words, all subjects are integrated.
That's what why we call Earth as a mother. Because it is the one which suffices all our needs, starting from what we eat, what we enjoy as a flower, or what we relish, or what we breathe as air. So everything is somewhere we lack. We don't have earth sciences as a discipline taught in schools, but we need to take students close to earth and respect earth as much as possible. And that can be only done if the teachers are trained in that manner.
Actually, only small part. Whatever I told, from my point of view or everyone's point of view, it's subjective. So maybe my observation is how good shawl you are wearing, the quality of clothes, what your shoes, what you're speaking, the subject you wear, how you smile, the color. So it's whatever people touch upon.
So that's why structured observation in science becomes very, very important, right? Because the child's mind can go anywhere. You know, the child would like to observe the bird, but we want the child to observe something else. That is why structure is important. And to what ma'am added, I just like to, that is what the essence of NEP is, interdisciplinarity. So whether it is writing a poem on an insect, or a flower, or weathering of rocks, everything. I mean, nature does not see anything in silos, the way we see physics, chemistry, earth science, English. Nature does not believe in that. It is interdisciplinary, and that is why NEP has its focus on interdisciplinarity a lot. So you'll see, you've seen curiosity, so you must have observed this part also, that interdisciplinary aspect is now a part of the NCERT.
Thanks for adding that. So, as Punita ji said, interdisciplinary is there definitely, and if you see curiosity books of NCERT, you will see a lot of examples of interdisciplinary things. Along with that, maybe ma'am would be very happy to know that if you read NCF, SE, it talks about the earth science. Okay, and earth science is an integrated part of the books for the middle stage from grade 6 onward. And along with physics, chemistry, biology, earth science is also mentioned as another discipline in the NCFSE. So that's really nice. Okay, with that, let's go to the second segment of the session, and with that we will have another experiential aspect. What we will do, that we will try to, so please don't do it, just pay attention to my instructions right now. Because it is very important to pay attention to instruction, because if we lose on that part, we will not be able to perform it. So please pay attention to instruction very carefully. What we will do, we will put our finger like this. Okay, right now don't do it, just observe me. Right now don't do it, just observe me. So we will keep the finger like this. Okay, anywhere. Don't do it right now. So just observe me. Okay. And once we put our finger maybe in front of our nose, okay, then what we will do is, so once we focus our finger on one of the points, let's say here, right? After that, what we will try to do, we will try to keep the finger focused there. Okay, right now don't do it, just observe it. We will close our eyes, one eye, let's say left eye or right eye, and we will observe it. Similarly, we will close right eye and observe it. But before we do it, what we have to do? We have to predict, right? So you might have heard this word prediction. Prediction is nothing but a possible guess, right? You are trying to make a guess that what will happen before we observe, right? So you have to predict, and again you have to share that prediction with your learning buddy. But along with the prediction, you also have to give the explanation for the prediction. Why do you think that your prediction is like that, right? So take 30 seconds. Try to predict when you close your eye. Don't do it right now. Don't do it right now, sir. Don't do it. Prediction is important before we do the observation, right? So that's why I'm saying that, because it is an experience which we have to experience. So first try to predict when you will close your left eye, what will you then share with your learning buddy, and then we will go to the observation. Okay? So take 30 seconds.
Curiosity into the air. And the second thing is also curiosity into the air. And the second thing is also that how we can continue that same curiosity till the age that they have to be learned or to achieve something. That is very much important for us to know that.
So, very good question and a very good observation in fact. there's a famous author, John Hall, who's written a book called How Children Fail. So he talks about exactly this point. Why does the curiosity die as the child grows? So if you look at a child, if you look at a 3-year-old child, he will ask you so many questions. हर चीज में एक सवाल होगा. But as you said, जैसे जैसे बड़ा होगा वो सवाल खत्म होता जाएगा. The reason is स्कूल में जब हम उसे सिखाते हैं obedience. Obedience का मतलब ये नहीं है कि अपने से बड़ों का आदर ना करें. Obedience का मतलब है चुप रहे. टीचर बोल रहा है तो सवाल ना करें. क्योंकि जो सवाल आपके मन में टीचर ने जो बोला है वो करेक्ट है. जब हम इससे थोड़ा सा आगे मूव करेंगे, as John Hall says, then the children will ask questions freely. The fear of asking questions and the fear of getting the incorrect answer. कितनी बार फेल हुए हैं, right? So every failure is also one success. We need to tell the children, गलत सवाल कुछ नहीं होता, सब सवाल सही है. गलत जवाब भी कुछ नहीं होता, because it is a new learning and learning is important. Tarun,
I also want to give an answer. You are a teacher. Just remember your B.Ed days. After your B.Ed, you were quite energetic. मैं अब जॉब करूँगा, बच्चों को पढ़ाऊँगा, देश को चेंज करूँगा, एजुकेशन सिस्टम को चेंज करूँगा. We all were same at that time, but now there is a change. Pressure of syllabus, management principals, they were asking about your marks. Class में रिजल्ट क्यों नहीं आया? इतने बच्चे फेल क्यों हैं? 90% से कम क्यों आया? Is it so? Right. I am just talking about our. मैं अपने स्किल की बात कर रही हूँ. We are teachers. But now just thinking about the child. Again, pressure of a syllabus. बच्चे को क्रैक करना है, लर्न करना है, because he wants to get good marks. But I just want to tell one more thing. In our school, we are doing extension learning. So why don't we complete our chapters in now? Like ma'am said कि अर्थ को जाने में कब 4 दिवाली बंद होगी. We cannot learn about earth. जब हम नेचर के जुड़े के बाहर आएंगे, we can nature walk करें, we can complete our 2 chapters. And in one lecture, it's not about chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. It's about learning. It's about learning objectives. So this is the difference.
Thank you, Sunitaji and Vidya for adding that. Just to add further to that, because it is a very important question. As Sunitaji also said, there is this component of fear for the children, not for children actually, more for the teachers, right? So that is very important aspect in this question. So even Jiddu Krishnamurti ji, Aurobindo ji talked about the fear of God. Because when we have a fear, we try to pretend. We don't be our own self, right? And this pretension creates a problem. So let's say when the student asks a question and if you don't know the answer, right, that fear will come. What the child will think about me. As an adult, I don't know the answer, right? And because of that fear, we will somehow, subconsciously or consciously, we will try to suppress that question. And that is the problem. So remove that fear from us. What is the big deal if I don't know the answer? Let's try to figure out together, as Vidya said. Everything will be solved. There can be also small practices, like before starting the classroom. If we give that 5 minutes of you, let's say not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes also if we give, to share their observations, share their questions. We may not even discuss those, that is also perfectly fine. But giving that express for their curiosity, their questions will solve any problem. I think those are some of the ideas which can be tried out. Very important question, thanks for asking. Okay, let's come back to the observation. Okay, now you can observe. Okay, close your eyes as we discussed. Right? So, project your finger in one place. Okay, and close your one of the eyes and observe. Open, close another and observe. Thank you. Do you want to share? Like, because I saw you also doing. So, like, okay. So any prediction and when you observe, like what was your observation?
Sorry, Master. Sir, my prediction was that if I close my this eye, then the finger I carry over here will be observed, appear to be in this direction. But actually it was different. It was observed just in the same direction. Observation and prediction both are different.
So that's interesting. Just to continue in that question, sir, if you take further ahead, when the prediction and observation didn't match, what happened in the mind?
I retried it again and again.
Again the same thing.
Yeah.
Then what happened in the mind?
That my prediction was wrong, or somewhere some activity, the process, the method by which I was doing, maybe not accurate. I changed the position from this point to this point. Then
So you tried many variations.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So in science, there is repeatability is very important, right? That is what sir did. He tried multiple times, every time same observation. Second is that he also tried the variables. That if I keep it near, what will happen? Far, what will happen? If I start from here, what will happen? So a lot of variations. So all these are very important aspects to do in the science. We should play with the variables to get more and more data so that we can come to a better conclusion. Very nice. So when prediction and observation doesn't match, right? Something happens in the mind naturally. Like, Gitaya, do you want to share if something like that has happened for you earlier or now, when the prediction and observation didn't match, what happens?
So many questions will come.
So a question emerged naturally when the prediction and observation didn't match. You predicted that it will like this, but it happened something in the other way. The natural question comes that, oh, मैंने तो ऐसा सोचा था कि ऐसा होगा, but ये ऐसा कैसे हो गया? And the question comes naturally. In the first exercise, when we were saying I observe, I wonder, we were consciously trying to come to the question from observation, right? In this case, subconsciously, we are trying to reach to the question. So we can also give this opportunity to the students, wherever possible, to predict first. If we directly start with the observation, question might not come. But if we start with the prediction, and if the prediction doesn't match with the observation, a natural question comes, and the interest also develops, and if the interest develops, the concentration and attention also comes. So all these are interlinked. So that's why the prediction, explanation, observation, and after that, what should be the next? Prediction, explanation for prediction, then observation. If the prediction and observation are not matching, then again thinking and explanation.
Analysis.
So, yeah, analysis and all this will come. So there is another thinking routine. First thinking routine we use, I observe, I wonder. This is another thinking routine which can be used, PEOE, prediction, explanation, observation, explanation. It very nicely intermingled all the things together, right? So that is another thing which can be done. Now with that, like PEOE is particular, may not be PEOE, but I think PEOE is used a lot in many of the schools. So do you want to share any other perspective on this particular aspect of PEOE, like prediction and explanation?
Whenever you have counterintuitive ideas, and you have counterintuitive ideas, so whenever your prediction does not match the observation, we have a way of thinking. For example, sink and float, there are many what we call as alternative conceptions or misconceptions or counterintuitive thoughts that come to the child's mind. So for example, pumpkin, एक कद्दू लिया बड़ा सा and उसको पानी में डालते हैं, float करेगा या sink करेगा? बच्चे क्या बोलेंगे? बच्चे क्या बोलेंगे? It will sink. Why would they say that? Because they think that it is big, so it is heavy, and therefore it will sink. So if you ask them first कि एक कद्दू लेंगे और पानी लेंगे, आप बताइए float करेगा या sink करेगा? This is for a primary class where you're teaching float and sink, and also middle school. So let them say कि कद्दू will sink, and let them think कि क्यों sink करेगा, and then you show them the experiment. That will create a disequilibrium, what we say, in the schemas. हमारे दिमाग में बहुत सारे वेब्स होते हैं ना, स्कीमास, तो उसमें डिसइक्विलिब्रियम क्रिएट होते ही सवाल पैदा होते हैं, ये कैसे हो गया, मैंने कद्दू तो इतना बड़ा होता है, सिंक कैसे हो गया। देन एंड अनदर एक्सपेरिमेंट, सरफेस टेंशन, जैसे हम क्लास 9 में कराते हैं, 8 में कराते हैं। तो एक ग्लास अगर हमने पानी का फिल करा विद वाटर अप टू द ब्रिम, बिल्कुल पानी से फिल कर दिया, और कॉइन्स दिए, 1 रुपी कॉइन, कितने कॉइन जाएंगे उस पानी में? एनी गेस? बच्चे क्या बोलेंगे?
They will give the number 25,
They will give 1, 2, मे बी कोई बोले कि एक भी नहीं, पानी गिर जाएगा। ठीक है, पानी नहीं गिरना चाहिए, ग्लास पूरा भरा हुआ है, आप ट्राई कीजिए, 10 से ज़्यादा कॉइन्स जा सकते हैं। सो फर्स्ट लेट देम प्रिडिक्ट हाउ मेनी कॉइन्स विल गो, देन लेट देम सी, देन लेट देम try to formulate an answer to it, then come to the concept. So whenever a disequilibrium is created, questions are asked by the student himself, then they have a better learning, because आपने दिखा दिया, उसने देखा और वो भूल गया, राइट? जैसे NEP में बहुत बात है कि रोट मेमोराइजेशन, इसीलिए जो सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, आप क्यूरियोसिटी में भी देखेंगे जिस तरीके के सवाल पूछे गए हैं वो बहुत अलग हैं, उनमें काफ़ी ओपन एंडेड एस्पेक्ट्स भी हैं और ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जहाँ पे बच्चा अपने आप ट्राई करके सवाल का जवाब देगा, सारे जवाब किताब में ही नहीं है। That is important whenever we are talking about prediction and observation taking place.
Thank you. Sure.
It's your discussion, but I want to share something very interesting.
That is very nice because if we are able to arise some questions, that is more important.
So, I'm talking about my nephew who's 29 years now. He was 3 and we were telling him that to eat well, he's 6'2" now. Otherwise he will not grow. And we took him to Sukna and there he said, Mama, the stars will eat and they will become moon. So look at his cognitive skills. A 3-year-old child is relating a live object, or you can say a life, with something which is not going to grow. Although we have concepts, the stars, how they form, and they also expand and they burn. But for a 3-year-old telling his mom that if the star eats, will it become a moon? So how beautifully he related his growth with the star.
Thank you for writing. With that, so we talked about the experiential learning, we talked about the scientific process, right? We talked about focus on the observation, questioning, prediction, and with prediction, what I think Punita ji was trying to highlight was about the alternative conception. You might have heard this word misconception, which is also alternative conception, called alternative conception, right? Students have their own conception. We should allow them to come, because if we don't allow them to come, it will remain there. Okay, it will not be like solved automatically. So we should allow those alternative conceptions to emerge and then have a discussion around it so that those can be resolved, right? So that's why PEOI is also very important to bring out this alternative conception, because when we are giving explanation for prediction, let's say why something will sink, and we say it is heavy, that's why it will sink, it is an alternative conception, right? So that is also very important aspect of PEOI. Okay. With that, I think because we have planned the session for 1.5 hours, but we don't have that much time. So we are cutting it short. But we want to keep some time for all of you to ask your questions and whatever thoughts you have. So we will open the floor for the questions from the participants. Anyone has a question for panel, please feel free to ask.
Sir, Mike.
Sir, I just trying to say that my child is and just saying a situation. That my 9-year-old child, that is 9-year-old, but when he was in 3rd class, when the school was his school was off, I used to let him in my school. In the 9th class, I was cutting that when the body is moving in straight line, then to make it turn, we have to apply force. So turning so many times, infinite times, it becomes a circular path. That means it has infinite sides. It has infinite vertices. But when he learned in the 3rd class, his own class, in own school, that Papa, in circle, there is no vertices. Triangle has 3 vertices. Square has 4 vertices, but circle has no vertices. But in your 9th class, you have told that circle has infinite vertices. He was trying to correlate such things. That example matching the ma'am was saying. This was an example that how much thinking, deep thinking he was doing.
Good. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so we, as Punitaji also said, we have the schema, right? Like, for example, if we talk about cow, right? And if I ask you, give the definition of cow, how many can give the definition of cow? Can anyone give definition of cow? Very difficult. Okay. Like, until or unless you are trained in biology, it is very difficult to give the definition of cow, right? So we build that schema. First time we will say that this is cow. We will show the cow and we will say this is cow.
This is cow.
Next time, let's say buffalo comes. Then child will say this is cow. We will say no, this is not cow, this is buffalo. So child will automatically try to find out that what are the differences. So our schema starts building with more and more examples. And that's why this spiral learning concept, spiral curriculum concept is there in the education.
Sir, on the basis of the child's observation, we can learn what are the different, how to define the cow and buffalo.
Yeah, so they might still not have a definition. They will have a better understanding of it. They might not be able to define it because they will say, okay, buffalo का शायद सिंग ऐसा होता है, brown होती है, गले में शायद कुछ differences है. तो ऐसे करके differences की basis पे वो शायद better understanding of cow would be there, but they might still not have a proper definition of the cow. So only understanding will develop. So
I had a suggestion. I also raised this suggestion to NCERT also, and they have conducted some national seminar for looking for writing the textbooks. As you have started, question is a very vital thing for the students, even for teaching process also. So last so many decades, we are giving the question paper to the students to give the answer. So it should be as a answer script to make a question. Even in IIT also, last in 2021, it has given to write 3 questions and give its answer for the engineering students. It is IIT Delhi, I think. They have given mark has been given, and it has been given no question paper is given. They given the task during this exam period. They have to write 3 questions and they have to explain their answer. And on the basis of this, they will evaluate. So similarly, in our exam paper also, some answer should be there to make the question, so that the student will acquire, and even it will motivate the teachers also to create, to insist the student to create the answer question, so that they can develop this questioning system, and the name of the will be then appropriate, the curiosity, whatever the name given for the science books, it will be appropriate. Thank you.
okay. Just to add to that, you might be very happy. Whatever your suggestion you are saying, it is already there in the NCERT books. So if you see the chapter and questions, like mindful eating chapter is there in grade 6, and there is a like child is saying something, and another child is trying to say that okay, it is not like that. Then the question I will ask that what are the 3 questions you would ask? Like for example, let's say I don't know whether exact example is there or not. Something similar is there. So let's say someone says that this is a shirt. Okay. Another child says no, it is a herb. Okay.
No, it is an acquire maybe in textbook. I am saying that it
In
should
examination
be
also it is.
examination process also.
I would just like to add, so when there are changes in the textbooks, the next step is change in assessment.
Correct.
Anyway, NCERT.
And NCF is talking about
Question answering is previous system is remain in previously also, but that is not reflected in questioning exam paper.
Yeah.
Previously also some 2-person conversation is there. In same thing has been incorporated in textbook for discuss all the thing. This time also, but in exam paper that should be that some they should give some
Like
answer and
English,
to develop.
dialogue writing.
Correct, dialogue figure. That has been given in textbook, but in answer, exam paper, we just like I prepare a exam paper, they're given the answer. What will be its question form? What will be its question form? That should be.
So NCF is talking about competency based education.
बेसिकली क्या है, बच्चा एग्जाम को देख के ही सीखता है आजकल। वैसे तो हम सब बातें कर रहे हैं, सब ठीक ही है, लेकिन बच्चा जो है या फिर देयर पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो एंड टीचर्स ऑल्सो इन क्लासरूम प्रैक्टिस वी फॉलो द एग्जाम रूल। एग्जाम में हमें आपने जैसे बताया कि 90% लाना है, तो वही हमारे दिमाग में भी होते हैं, बच्चे के दिमाग में भी होते हैं, पेरेंट्स के दिमाग में होते हैं। तो एग्जाम में अगर
आपको देना चाहूंगी, I got a student from science background. I got very less marks in science, but still today I am here. I am a student from humanities. क्योंकि हमारे टाइम में क्या रहता था? Very traditional way. Good morning, ma'am. Take out your books, page number this and that. Take out your notebooks. We are really little, but why today we are talking about experiential learning? We are going back to our roots. गुरुकुल की बात की जा रही है।
बेसिकली गुरुकुल सिस्टम इज देयर, मतलब हम भी जब दादाजी के साथ घूमते थे, दादाजी बोलते थे ये देखो वो देखो ये देखो दैट्स हैपेंड, और चीज़ें भी थी। अब तो बहुत चीज़ें बदल गई, पूरा कंक्रीट जंगल हो गया, ठीक है ना। उनको रिलेट
very important point, and ma'am said that experiential learning aspect is coming, but along with that NCF talks about competency based education along with competency based assessment.
Correct.
So that is already there. It will come. CBSE has already started taking the steps. If you will see, every year they are increasing the number of increasing the percentage of the questions which are on the higher order thinking, and this kind of question can also come into that. Very nice suggestion. Thank you.
मैम, जैसे आपकी बातों से भी पता लग रहा है कि ना जो हम सब्जेक्ट पढ़ाते हैं तो उसमें सब्जेक्ट के साथ साथ चाइल्ड साइकोलॉजी का एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है, जो आपने बताया कि जैसे हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं कि किसी शराबी को चाहे जंगल में भी छोड़ दो तो वो टीका ढूंढ लेगा ना, तो बच्चे में वो क्यूरियोसिटी जागना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो जैसे आपने मतलब बताया, हम टीचर्स ज़्यादातर लिटरेचर जो सब्जेक्ट के बारे में पढ़ते हैं, तो आपने जैसे पुनीता में बुक सजेस्ट की थी वॉट थे, तो ऐसी कुछ किताबें बता सकते हैं साइकोलॉजी
अग्रवाल साहब के एजुकेशनल
साइकोलॉजी पे एग्जैक्टली मुझे नहीं पता, बट आप औरबिंदो जी, श्री औरबिंदो एंड द मदर की लिखी हुई बुक है ऑन एजुकेशन। सो इट इज अ वंडरफुल बुक. इट टॉक्स अबाउट डिफरेंट 5 beings: physical being, vital being which is about emotion, mental being which is about the logical thinking, and fourth one is psychic being. So psychic being has some aspect of that where we have to pay attention. It is not exactly that. So I don't remember exactly any book from the psychology.
Sir, educational psychology Agarwal. This is the best book.
JC Agarwal.
JC Agarwal, educational psychology. This is the best book for normal people. Yeah.
So what I was saying is read a lot of literature on alternative conceptions. Because as Tarun also said, alternative conceptions are a big field of research now, and there is a lot of literature related to sciences on this topic. You will very easily find it on Google, and I can give you some names after this session.
Just to add to the mother on education I was talking about, like Aurobindo ji said that how it leads to the psychology. So it says nothing can be taught. That is the principal one, right? So if we understand that, we understand the psychology. Like I can't teach any one of you. We can't teach any one of you. If you don't pay attention, if you are not concentrated, even if you want, you will not be able to teach. So learning is dependent on the learner. So that is the first principle. So that is kind of hinting to the psychology, right? Then second, it talks about even if you want to teach, the mind has to be consulted, right? When it says the mind has to be consulted, what does it mean? It means we have to understand the child. We have to understand from which background the child is coming from. What is the interest of the child? So that is the second principle what he talks about. Third principle he talks about is near to far. like where the child is. From there we have to go far. We can't think that, okay, I have to teach this, that's why I will teach this. That will not work. So all these principles are kind of hinting to the psychology, but I don't know whether I can say that that is a book on the psychology, but they are inbuilt aspects of the psychology.
Education book is education.
I would just like to end my part by saying students love to learn, but they hate being taught. So let them love to learn.